Hello, Video Game Hunter here, and welcome to this year's heartwarming holiday special. And today, I'm gonna try something new. Instead of reviewing some random video game or game related stuff, this time, I'm gonna review an episode from a certain TV show that I really enjoy, and be a little more creative while I'm making and filming this video. So, I'm really hoping you notice something different about this video.
Oh, I'm gonna be fucking pissed and firing a couple of my staff for ruining this special occasion.
Well, let me calm down a bit and get back to the holiday spirit and start my review. So the episode I'm reviewing today is a heartwarming tale from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, where the main focus is Starlight Glimmer, or in this episode, should be mostly known as Snowfall Frost, which I will explain in a second. The opening of the episode shows all the ponies singing and enjoying their heartwarming Eve party. Then it cuts to Twilight asking Starlight if she's ready to celebrate her first heartwarming in Ponyville. And she responds,
I was thinking I might just skip it.
I know, right? How can anyone even think about skipping this fantastic holiday, where we celebrate the day that the Earth Pony, Pegasus, and Unicorn that came together to settle their differences and live together in harmony? Well, she does explain that she thinks it's a silly holiday that's dedicated to gifts and candy. But Twilight does inform her that there's more to the holiday than just that. Now, instead of giving her the usual history lesson that pretty much every pony knows about now, she decides to read Starlight her favorite holiday book, A Heartwarming Tale. Now, the Heartwarming Tale is basically the show's version of The Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. Now, I never read the book, but it's always been one of my favorite Christmas specials, where you have TV shows like the Flintstones or Disney using their own characters doing their own version of the story. And usually, they're pretty good. But here, not so much. Well, first, I would like to mention is that they don't really use any of the names from the original story, except for the spirit of Christmas, or in this case, they're the spirit of heartwarming. You got names like Snowfall, like I mentioned earlier, and other names like Snow Dash. Yes, some of the names they gave to some of the characters are questionable, but still, somewhat represents the characters from the original story. But I must say, Rainbow Dash doesn't look too bad with that boyish hairstyle. I can dig it! Before we move on, I kind of want to make a quick add that some of the important key characters from the original story, they don't use at all here. Like for example, Scrooge's dead business partner, Jacob Marley, who comes back from the dead to warn Scrooge about his afterlife punishment, and mentioning that he will be visited by the three spirits. And they also don't use Tiny Tim. I mean, come on! Scootaloo would have been perfect for this role. She could have played the part as Rainbow Dash's sick daughter. So that said, I do like their version of Ebenezer Scrooge, Snowfall. For what I would call, Scrooge wasn't really much of a villain. Really, he was some old greedy bastard. Now in this episode, Snowfall has an evil plan to end heartwarming with her new magic spell that she's been working on. And the reason she's doing this is because she thinks we shouldn't be wasting our time with this silly holiday. But instead, we should be working hard, learn, and use our skill to better Equestria. Hoo-ah! I understand where she's coming from, but she never explained how this spell would end heartwarming. What, does every pony get amnesia or something? Again, they never explain. So now let's move on and talk about the spirits. First thing I would like to say is that I do like the ponies they picked to represent their role. Applejack as heartwarming past, Pinkie Pie as heartwarming present, and Luna as heartwarming yet to come. With characters like this playing as the spirits, what can go wrong? Well, let's talk about the original story again and compare the spirits to this episode. You see, in the Christmas Carol, the first two spirits, past and present, take Scrooge to some of his happiest moments in life and some bad moments. Like the past showing him that he had someone that was the love of his life, but the love got destroyed by Scrooge's greed. While the present takes Scrooge to his assistant's family Christmas dinner, showing him that they don't have much for a good meal, but are still blessed with the food they are given, even though their son, Tiny Tim, not in good health. Now what we got in this special is a watered down version. They don't really give any dark moments with the first two spirits. The heartwarming past spirit shows Snowfall how she used to love spending time with her friends and also celebrating heartwarming before she thought it was a waste of time, while also showing us how she got the idea that the Wendigos don't exist, and when she got the saying, working hard, education, and using your skill to better Equestria. And it's all thanks to the shitty teacher Professor Flintheart for misinforming his own student because of his own personal beliefs. Which I can't figure out how he cannot believe in Wendigos, where he lives in a world filled with magical possibilities. So that said, what I really do like about Snowfall's teacher, Professor Flintheart, is that his design is a reference to a Harry Potter character, Professor Snape. I think I might know someone who might like this. Hey Mom, My Little Pony made a reference to your favorite Harry Potter character, Snape. Want you to sit down and watch this episode with me?
What did I say? Not coming back until you bring me a grandkid. Your older brother's having a kid. Why can't you be more like him? You'll always be a disappointment in my eyes.
Well, that didn't go well. So anyway, let's talk about the second spirit, the spirit of present. And to be honest, there's not much I can say besides what you expect from Pinkie Pie, but the spirit of present does show Snowfall that a gift can mean many things. And she also takes her to her assistant Snow Dash at her holiday party, where they see her talking to her friends about her boss not liking the holiday because, again, she thinks that we're better off spending our time to better Equestria. And of course, her friends don't find that amusing because they actually think celebrating heartwarming has everything you need to better Equestria. Man, they make a good point here. Now, the last spirits, I felt like they really got it down. You see, in the original story, we see the spirit of yet to come shows the main character that his death wouldn't affect anyone, and all his stuff gets stolen and no one comes to his funeral. And he also witnessed his assistant's family mourning for their son's death of Tiny Tim. Of course, the show doesn't go that far, but I still think it's kinda dark in their own special way. In this scene, Luna, who is the heartwarming spirit of yet to come, and boy does she play her role, shows Snowfall that her spell that she's been working on to end heartwarming, which again they never explain how it's supposed to end the holiday, completely destroys the future of Equestria. The Wendigos came back and covered the land of Equestria in the snowstorm. So I'm actually assuming that the spell that Snowfall created made the ponies not to get along with one another, which resulted to bringing back the Wendigos, which means these creatures killed everyone. I know I'm just speculating, of course, but they would never admit this in the show. But I gotta add some darkness to my theory. So after that, you pretty much know what happens next to the main character. She wakes up and she changes her ways and decides to go to her assistant's party. And now she is finally having a good time. And that's pretty much the episode. Besides Twilight finishing her story, and Starlight comes out of her shell and joins everyone else at the heartwarming party. Now, I know I was kinda harsh in this review, and that's because I was comparing it to the original story of The Christmas Carol, and this one might be one of the weakest adaptation. However, if I reviewed it just like any other episode, then overall, this is a pretty average episode at best. We had an issue in the beginning of the episode where Starlight is not fully understanding the holiday. Twilight helps her by reading her student her favorite book on how the holiday is important and how a simple gift can mean the world to some people.
Thanks? I was in a hurry. I'll do better next time. You kidding? No one's ever given me dragon toenail before? It's awesome! Now come get some eggnog!
Now, one thing I didn't enjoy about this episode that had nothing to do with the original story is the songs. They all sound so forced, and it also sound like they rushed out the singing as fast as possible so they can fit in the 22-minute time slot.
Clouds arrange so they're just so Heartwarming Eve is here once again. Gonna make some awesome snow. Heartwarming Eve is here once again. The chill wind blows, making a show. Snowflakes aglow. Heartwarming Eve is here once again.
Of course, not all songs in this episode are terrible. Just one song I thought was great, and that's when we got to Luna. But that also is probably because we were at a dark moment of the story.
I see days neither fun nor free. I see a future caused by you.
My last thought on this episode is that I do wish they made this episode longer, or at least made it into a 2-part episode and used more material from the original story, or at least give more of their own spin on it. Then I would have think that we would have something special here. But that's it for today. Please let me know your thoughts on this episode in the comments, and please feel free to request an episode you wish for me to review. It doesn't have to be from MLP, it could be really from any show, like regular show or shows like Gargoyles. So, that said, this is the Video Game Hunter, wishing you a happy heartwarming, and until next time, goodbye. Thank you for watching my video. Please give it a like and subscribe for more videos. You can also follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, and DeviantArt. If you have some free time on your hands, please check out the Console Xplosion and other features on their site. Well, again, until next time, goodbye.